Welcome to another episode of the Finding Serenity in the Midst of Chaos podcast. Today, we're talking about living from the inside out or outside in, for that matter. Hello, Ian.
Hello, July.
Uh,
Whichever way round, inside out or outside in, we don't care.
Well, we kind of do care, and that's why I
Oh,
wanted to bring you here.
there you go. Yeah.
And I know that you know that in the past few weeks we've been talking about emotional regulation and letting go of all the boiling up emotions inside of us in order to be able to live a more balanced life. And balance, as we said before, mostly comes from balance on the inside rather than outside, but
Sure.
also that kind of interlinked. And today I wanted to bring that back in a little bit because I can see both in the clients that I work with and sometimes in myself and mostly in all of the world, really 90 and 98% of the population, we tend to live from the outside in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to explain as we go through this video
Yeah.
what that really
I think
means.
I know what you mean, but I'm going to let you explain it properly. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been here long enough, right?
Oh yes, yes, yes. I trust your explanation. Yeah, I'm just trying to ask some of the questions that the listeners might want to ask, but
Yes.
you know, maybe I'm not getting the right questions. So maybe
No,
that
I think you'll be good. And for
I'm
the
well
purpose of
trained.
well trained, for the purpose of the listeners and watchers, today is our 4th anniversary. 4 years ago today, we
Yes,
started
yes.
recording these, right?
Yep, so at the time of today's recording, we are, as you say, Chulai, 4 years in. I was just, so I'm having some work done. I mean, not in, I must confess, I'm not in my normal studio today because it's being refloored. I'm having some nice wooden flooring and some soundproof stuff put in the studio at the moment. So I'm not there. But yes, it's 4 years. And yeah,
Yes.
it's amazing. We started, we
It,
started when COVID, it's almost, I mean, it's come and gone and we don't think about it anymore, but it was
yeah.
such a thing at the time. And it's 4 years that we've been doing this. It is
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
It is amazing. It started as a conversation to help the local community, which I'm sure that we've helped. And
Yeah.
it's expanded to the whole world. And now we're on YouTube. The whole world is watching us.
It's
And I cannot
brilliant.
be any happier, really, that we are still helping 4 years on many people around the world listening to the podcast and watching it on YouTube. And this is why today's topic is really important, and we've covered it in many aspects before, living from the inside out or outside in, as the name suggests. What would that look like, you probably are asking? Well,
Yes.
living from the outside, let's describe that first of all. So let's say the weather is cloudy, as it's turning out to be cloudy as we speak.
It is. There's this moment, there's rain coming down. It's quite a nice
Yeah.
sound on the roof here. I quite like it actually. It's sort of,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
then
yeah, I
that
can't
that
control
kind
that.
of gets you into this gray and dark
Oh
mood.
yeah.
And it used to get me into this mood a lot in the first 3 months of me living in the UK
Yes.
and coming from a very sunny country,
Yeah.
360 days of sunshine. I was like, this is kind of clouds that I've never seen before. I didn't even experience such a thing before. And that used to get my mood down a lot. I used
Yeah.
to feel
Oh,
really
it's very
down.
real, isn't it?
It
Yeah.
is very real. And yeah, we see this from the people when the sun goes down early and comes down really late in the winter months. This is a real thing that people suffer from.
Yeah.
But this is where the outside living from the outside in comes from. Also, the example of we woke up this morning with the pure great sunshine. I went for a walk, felt good. It's just all these warm fuzzy feelings, but all of these feelings were just coming from outside. And 1 minute, if it's sunny, then I'm going to feel great. If
Yeah.
it's dark and cloudy, I'm not going to feel so great. But the trouble with that, especially if you're living in the UK, you can have 4 different seasons in a matter of 4 hours. And
Yeah.
this is not
Yeah.
even a joke, right?
No,
As
no,
you
it's
know.
not.
So what is that? What would that mean for you in terms of your mental state? Is that you can be in different moods within that 4 hours if you're just changing your mood and changing your mindset, changing the way you feel based on the weather outside.
Well, as people say, don't they? You know, changing with the weather.
Yes, they probably do. Oh no, but I mean, this is the very kind of crude example, but we do mean this by, if you're working in an office full of different people with different life situations, if your boss comes into the office with a long face, all of a sudden, this used to affect my mood a lot. I used to feel extremely distressed when she walked into the room with a long face, and often she did. And you immediately start thinking, oh, what have I done now? You know, why is she feeling like this? But never even thought for 1 minute it had nothing to do with me for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out it had absolutely nothing to do with me. She lived 45 minutes drive away, and she just spent 3 hours in traffic, which she didn't expect it to have done, for example. Therefore, she missed her morning meeting, and that probably put her in some sort of distress in terms of her mental state. Plus, sitting in traffic for 3 hours first thing in the morning is the last thing anyone wants to do, right?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Then of course you can totally appreciate why someone would walk in with such a long face and not very happy, right?
But July, isn't it funny how we kind of naturally assume it's something to do with us?
It is, isn't it? We
And it
assume the
just
world
really
revolves
isn't.
around us.
Yeah.
It is, but it is totally, even when I started to become more aware of myself, my surroundings and people around me and all this mindset stuff, I still found it hard to decouple myself from other people's, specifically my boss's mood on the day.
Yeah.
Because you'd almost immediately think, oh, have I done something wrong? Why is this and what is that? But of course, it's always what's inside comes outside, isn't it?
Right. Yeah,
So,
that's it. Here we go. This is where with the inside out, outside in thing all fits together.
well, yeah. So, I mean, this is really convoluted, but we are going to get somewhere with this, and it is really going to come all together. So, outside living, okay, your boss comes in with a face and you just think it's all about you, then that ruins your day. That's going to start to make you feel anxious. It's going to make you start to lose your words, perhaps make some mistakes. And then you start to get in a bad mood and you start to snap at everybody else around you.
And you become very inefficient and not doing your job and not finding any fulfillment in what you're doing. It's just negative experience, isn't it, all the way around? And nobody's winning here, really.
Nobody's winning, and you start to radiate this negative energy to outside, and then the ripple effects you can see in an office. Why, when somebody's in a bad mood, everything else goes down very easily. Plus, if you are watching the news most of the time, we spoke about this topic, there is never a good news in anywhere. Good news is not it doesn't sell newspapers, it doesn't.
That's right.
Nobody watches them. It's great, fine, but change the channel. But if it's bad news, for some reason we get sucked into it, we get sad and whatever. Basically, whatever your thoughts are at that moment, it creates some feelings. And if you're drawn into the news, you're going to be in the bad feeling, and bad feelings create bad actions, and bad actions create bad outcomes. It's just it's like a vicious circle that we go. So what do we do about this? How do we stop others outside affecting us so much? When you're feeling bad because somebody is feeling bad, you're going to start to make bad decisions, take bad actions. And why is this so important in the first place? And we kind of explained why it's important, because if you don't want to be living your life up and down like a yo-yo every single day, then you're going to have to find a way to regulate your own internal
that's
emotions.
A good word. Regulate. Yes, I like
regulate
that. Yeah,
I mean, emotional regulation is actually one of the most important things that we need to have, yet we haven't yet mastered. Nobody has mastered. Children find this difficult because their brain hasn't developed fully.
Right.
But adults also find this extremely difficult because we haven't learned to do it when we were children, and now we are carrying that into our adulthood. One of the brain surgeons, I forget now where it was, I think in the US, he's also a neuroscientist, and he's had many brain surgeries. He's conducted many brain surgeries, and when the interviewer asked him what is the most important part of, you know, our brain and being human, if you like, our part of brain, he says is emotional regulation.
Wow. Yeah.
Emotion, the word itself, energy in motion, is basically energy going through your body. It's in motion, and if you keep it stored in your body, keeping it stuck by bottling up your feelings, but by getting affected by other people's feelings and making it mean something about you,
Right.
all of a sudden it becomes your problem. You can't regulate it, but the bottling up is going to explode at some point. So that's why the energy in motion, we need to keep it moving and moving out of our bodies.
Very interesting. Okay, nice picture, nice thing. So, yeah, but the reality is we've got to do this,
We've
and
got to do
we're
this.
not
So,
doing it.
and let's face it, we've talked about it again many times before. External stuff is always going to happen, and we have zero control over how somebody else is going to react to the situation that we are in, what the weather is going to be like tomorrow. As much as they like to predict it, they cannot predict it.
No, that's
And
right.
if we just base all our lives around other people's emotions, other people's actions, and the things outside of us, we're not going to live a very stable life. So this harmony and the balance and the fulfillment that we are looking for isn't outside. This is why we need to stop living from outside in and start living inside out.
Brilliant. I like it. And I like the use of the word stable there, to have a
Yeah.
stable existence, a stable life.
Yeah. This doesn't mean that you're not going to have emotions. This doesn't mean that life is not going to throw things at you. This
Right.
doesn't mean that everything is going to be always perfect, but nothing is ever perfect. But it's not about this situation itself per se. It's our perception of the
Okay.
situation,
Yeah.
how we perceive it and what we do with the situation that matters. If you remember 4 years ago, when I used to do these Facebook Lives every week, one of the classes was about how we deal with the stress. There's this 800 pounds gorilla inside of you, which is the lower part of your brain. It's going to perceive everything as a big deal, and it's going to put you into this fight, flight, or freeze situation if you react immediately. So
yep, I remember talking about all that. Yeah.
So the suggestion here is that there is no big danger, and just to calm yourself down, first of all, to take a deep breath. I mean, this isn't easy, right?
Yeah.
But it is simple.
That's right, because we so want to react and be, live in the situation, but
and it's our automatic reaction. Our automatic reaction is to, again, you can be grateful for your brain to have that function, to be able to get you out of really sticky situations because of this reaction. But not everything has to be reacted in this way.
Right. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Good. Not everything has to be reactive.
In
Yeah.
this way.
Perfect.
So we've got to be able to regulate and discern at that point in time, is this a situation where I really need to react, or is this a situation I can just walk away from? Is this really to do with me, or is this something it's to do with the person on the outside, all of this. So it's so we've got to have that space, as we said last week. We've created some space in our mind. We've
That's right.
some
Yeah.
space in our head. Now we get to regulate ourselves from our own premise that we can do this. Everything is okay. I can breathe. Things will sort themselves out. I mean, yesterday, a couple of days ago, I got myself a new phone because the old phone wasn't functioning. In the end, that kind of repeated itself. So I just had to get a new phone. I set up my new phone and everything seemed to be working okay. And then I deleted the whole contents of my other phone. And then I try and get in WhatsApp and I just can't get in it because, plug your other phone in, or just go to your other phone to make sure that you put the code in to this. It's like that other phone is gone now. It's like, luckily I hadn't given it away, so I had to reinstate the other phone, put the SIM card in, and do all of that. But it's like the moment when I realized that all the messages were gone, I can't get into it. I did for a moment get into that state of, oh my God, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Because it is just that absolute natural reaction to
Yeah.
the instant thing that suddenly hit you unawares, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's come
When
up
everything
from
is
the,
going fine, it all is good, all is well, bang, something comes in. Oh my God. No, what do I need to do?
yeah.
But it's like I did get into a bit of a panic, but then in the end I just like, this will sort itself out. It's
Yeah.
gonna have to.
And that,
It will
you
do
know,
at some point.
that's acceptable, isn't it? This
Hmm.
is acceptable. You know, we're not trying to say there's never going to be a reaction, or there's never going to be a wrong reaction, or there's
Yeah.
never going to be that explosion and type thing.
Yeah.
But it's then, how do we quickly get that back, and how do we regulate
Hmm.
it? And how do we quickly get our, you know, a correct response then
Yeah.
following that? And we mustn't beat ourselves up about having that initial response. Is that right,
Absolutely
Julie?
right. Absolutely right. That's natural. It's like a reflex, isn't it? That is a
Yes.
habit. But then as we start to develop into this breathing and a bit more moving it's like that reaction is like moving your emotions out of your body right there and then taking a deep breath, and it's fine. It's going to be sorted.
Yeah.
And that's getting into the habit of that we need to really be mindful of, isn't it? And that's the mastery. That's where we get to the mastery of everything. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen right now, but
Yeah.
it will happen when we put the work in.
If something's worth having, it's, you know, often a lot of work needs to go into it to, you know, to get there. And it's the same with all this stuff, isn't it? You know,
It is. I
we've
mean,
got
when
to.
you start walking, you don't all of a sudden start running like a 100-meter athlete or a
That's right,
marathon runner,
indeed.
do you? You
Yeah,
just
of course.
learn to train your body to cope with those situations. The same with when you go to the gym, you're not going to have great muscles overnight. Um, you have to put the work in
Yeah,
order to get the results. And this is the say in the mindset stuff. You can't just expect everything else and change everything else and everyone else to change, but you do nothing, take no responsibility, and your mindset is going to be great. That's not how it is.
no.
You have to do the work. You have to take some responsibility in putting that work and shifting your mindset. Otherwise, it's like I can show you how to do the push-ups, but I can't do your push-ups for you, right? The
That's right.
personal trainer example.
Yeah.
So this is what I urge everyone today to, like you said, be gentle with yourself. If you are having some reaction to some things going on the outside, and it's absolutely normal, but then realize that, is this reaction really in line with what's really going on? Put into some sort of perspective. Is this really true? Can this be sorted out? Yes, by me, by someone else, whoever, but it will eventually be sorted out. Do I really need to deal with this right now?
And, you know, these reactions and things are not the experiences that we want, are they? And they're not what we desire, and they're not doing us any good. You know, we want to get out of that reaction as quickly as possible
Yeah.
to get back to a kind of experience of life that we want, and
Mm.
you know, to have things more pleasant and more joyful and more peaceful and more
It is.
fulfilling.
And, you reminded me when you said that, the reaction is just in the moment, it's fine. And it probably you react in that way because you probably are thinking this is just disrupted my day and whatever. But as we also said before, everything is happening for you. Even the experience at that moment is an unwanted experience. It is still there for your own growth, whether that's to for you to start embodying and practicing this being from the inside out, or is it's because there's another lesson for you to learn or something else for you to practice, and it applies to every single one of us every single day. These are just experiences that are showing us where we need the growth more, where we need to put the work in, or where we need to change things, you know.
And we've got, and we've got a good reason for wanting to do that, because things will be better when we've done that, and when we have got that mastery, and when we have got that habit,
Yeah.
things are going to elevate for us.
They will, and universe has got a very great way of showing, if you don't learn the lesson the first time, it will throw you if to a little stone. If you don't learn it, it will throw you a big rock. If you don't learn it, the boulder will come in and you will eventually learn the lesson.
Yeah, better do it when the little stone comes in, really.
Exactly, that's right. But sometimes you need to have had those several experiences to learn, and that's, I guess, the next time you're not going to do anything like that, because every single different area of your life, you're going to have different experiences in this way. Sometimes you learn the lesson quickly,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't, but there is still a value in everything. So
Real positive stuff. Real
indeed.
positive winning stuff here, yeah.
So we forgot to mention, please subscribe to our
I
channel
was just
if
about to
you're
do that, but you
if
can
you're
do it.
loving our podcast every week. We are loving doing them 4 years in, because these are rich conversations that we can all benefit from and learn from and apply. When you apply, the results will be magical for you. That I promise. But again, it has to take something from you. It needs to come from you in terms of the work that you have to do. But yeah, we're here talking. Yeah, until next time.